Hey friend, welcome to my channel, Kareen Allude, where we talk about everything, and I'm Kareen Allude. If you're not yet part of the friendship circle, please be sure to like, subscribe, and join the friendship circle. And if you're already part of the friendship circle, please be sure to turn on your notification bell so you can always know when I post a new upload. Today's video is going to be broken down in two parts, and they're a very good subject. We are going to talk about how to change your bad reputation, and we're going to get really real here, okay? If you were labeled a garden tool, you guys know what that means on here, or if you did some things in your past that you're not proud of, things that you're probably still currently doing, but you want to remove yourself from those stigmas and want to quit, and you kind of want people to see you different for the new person that you're becoming, I'm going to give you some steps on how to do just that. And then part two, you guys requested, Kareen, how do you be unbothered? You wanted me to go more in depth and definitely break that down into two parts. Let's get into the video. First, let's talk about a bad reputation, okay? If you're a girl, you're watching this, you're in high school, a lot of women now that are older know how it was when we were kids, right? We were very boy crazy, most of us, not all, and there's a lot of things that you probably have done that you're not too proud of in your pursuit of being boy crazy. And we know a lot of things can make young girls boy crazy. Not having a father present can be one. We're always searching for love and validation from others, whether friends. We're easily more influenced because we're looking for love. And then also, it could not just be a father, it could be not having a mom present or any adult figure that genuinely cares or have conversations with us about these things can turn that on too. And also, let's not forget the biggest tool, which is television, media, songs, etc. When I was young, I listened to so many love songs, and I was in love every week. Every other week I was in love with somebody new, okay? If I had a dream about you, then God said you were supposed to be my husband, okay? And it just had to happen. And it just puts you in this space where you'll have a lot of people that you're talking to at one time, etc. And unfortunately for women, society has labeled women as, you know, garden tools, HOEs, for exploring that at a young age and not always knowing better. But for men, not necessarily, depending on the culture that you're from. What do you do if you were one of those girls or even one of those guys in a more closed-in community that definitely has a reputation of getting around, or maybe you've made some of those mistakes? Number one, remove yourself from those people that you know will constantly remind you of your past, whether it's friends, whether it's your church community, whether it's your family, whether it's whatever is keeping you stuck with who you were once. You have to be able to cut that off and not feel guilty about it. People will say, oh, she's acting brand new, but I know who she used to be. She used to blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter to you. Tone the noise out. Don't put it around you, and respectfully tell people who's around you. Because if there's one thing that I dislike the most is when I'm cutting people off, cutting things off, and if someone close to me come, girl, did you know XYZ said this about? No, you cut off too. Don't come tell me what other people told you about me. You know, that can be in a malicious way also. So number one, cut them off. Do not be afraid to. Anything that's going to constantly remind you of those things or give you PTSD of your own past or anxiety, cut them off. And it's not even being a garden tool, whether you used to sell substances, hey, or you used to do it yourself, you used to be an avid substance user, or it falls into so many categories. It doesn't matter what it used to be. If you were the violent girl, used to get into a lot of fights, used to be volatile with people, or you've done a lot of things that you're not proud of, please remove that. And I know in society with cancel culture, it's popular to bring up people's past and not give them rehabilitation or grace, but more so cancel them. You do not have to subscribe to this ideology, and you do not have to hang around people who subscribe to that ideology. Hang around people who have grown and who promote growth and who speaks about grace and growth. And that is the whole purpose of being a Christian. God calls you into a whole new kingdom, into a whole new identity. He gives you a whole new name. When we get to heaven, we will have a whole new name. So who we were once, we will not be anymore, you know? So in humanity, we have to start exercising that. Number 2, change your identity physically too. Do not underestimate that, okay? It is undeniable, especially if I always use corporate America as an example because I was in it. And the office that I worked for many years, when I was the office manager there, I enforced the dress code, and it changed the business dramatically. You know, we learned that in business school a lot. Your appearance matters. Politicians, the same. There's people that will lose votes just because of how they look, just because of how they dress. Competence is based on the physical. Unfortunately, humans do judge people by the physical. And if you want to go against that, you will lose out on the opportunity to maintain an image. You can have 2 people that have the same amount of money, both are billionaires, and one is seen as more competent, more respectable because of how they promote themselves and how they come up, versus one who just always walks around with a jean and a t-shirt all the time. One exudes power, dominance, and competency, while the other exudes more of a chillax. Maybe they just got lucky. Their success is luck, or yeah, they're smart, but they're probably dirty at home, or this or that. It's very mean-spirited, and I do not like to subscribe to that ideology, but I understand in corporate America it matters. Like when I'm at an office, making sure the office smells good when people come in. There's toilet paper there, the toilet is not clogged or messy, and everyone dresses nice. You're greeted with a smile, you're greeted with champagne. Imagine Target versus Walmart, Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's, where McDonald's is probably worth more than Chick-fil-A. There's a McDonald's everywhere. You'll find a McDonald's in the middle of nowhere, right? And Chick-fil-A is a little bit more rare, but look how Chick-fil-A is being talked about versus McDonald's. You know what I mean? And it's about Chick-fil-A puts in great effort that their employees are presented well, they speak well, they're polite, and how they promote themselves is better, just like with Target. I will pay the extra to shop at Publix or Target versus Walmart for certain things. You know, like I'm always gonna go to Walmart for some things, you know, I just refuse. But I do know when I go to Walmart, I'm in and out. I'm not like taking my time browsing. Why do women talk about how when they get into Target, they go in there with a budget of $100 and end up spending $200-$300? Because you feel so comfortable and welcoming in there and a lot more safer, and you take your time, you start to browse. But when you're in Walmart, sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get, and you just wanna get your stuff and get out because you're already expecting somebody to be rude with you. Once you go to a drive-through versus going to sit down at a nice fancy restaurant or something, I don't know, first restaurant that popped to mind, Del Frisco's or Fleming's or something, is gonna be different than going to like a Chili's. You know, you're gonna expect a certain level of decorum, a certain level of, you know, and people are the same way. If I come up to you and I'm dressed a certain way, my nails are not well polished, my face is, you know, very unkempt, my hair is all over the place, and my clothes is not, you're going to, if you have a compassionate heart, you're still going to listen and understand how to look at people in the physical, but you're definitely not going to think that that person thinks too highly of themselves, and you might associate them with certain things. And this is probably a tough, and please try to understand where I'm coming from. This is coming from love. I know this is a tough lesson to say. If you're dressed with your pants sagging down, you come and try to talk to my daughter, for instance, or you come and apply for a job, I'm not going to take you seriously, because it's like, you don't respect me, you don't respect yourself, right? Or if you're a woman who's applying to be, I don't know, the Secretary of State of these United States or whatever position, and you come in dressed with a crop top, some booty shorts or whatever, you cannot expect people to automatically associate that with a prestigious position like that. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's how the mind works. And if you really want to change your reputation, you have to consider that and change your whole outlook. Okay, understand the power of clothes, the power of being polished, the power of how you look. It's not an insult, it's just a reality. And if you're online, I noticed there's been many social experiments that have happened, books, documentaries made on this. This is not Kareen's state state of mind. But men and women alike, when we go on a page and we see a guy always in the club throwing dollars and have a whole bunch of girls around we automatically associate him with like a player, a baller, probably a flexer type of, it's not really. Versus if we go to a man's page and we see he's suited up, yeah, we can say scammers get suited up too, but you know what I mean. And the way he talks is not, he talks very respectful. He's not always in a club. You see him in meetings, you see him in charity works, galas and things like that, and not projecting himself as just this big ball of money on his ears in front of his whips and stuff like that. You're going to look at him different. Same for women. If a man is looking for a woman to date or a woman to date, and the woman that you're looking at is always like 99% of their photos and videos are and their nails is super long, they're with the super high heels, super bright makeup, just all of these things, and you're probably not going to associate that person with someone who doesn't have a lot of blue check marks in their DMs or probably flying to Dubai. Now they use a look for women who fly to Dubai to perform personal favors, So I know I stayed on this topic a lot because it's the one that offends people the most, and it's the one that people are least willing to change, and they're like, accept me how I am, do not judge me for this, that, and the third. And I'm like, there's a point, a position you make. Like, third and not least is literal inner work, healing, therapy. Okay, it's easy to say to cut off people, be unbothered, all this, etc. But if you're not doing the literal inner work to understand, why did I participate in these activities? A lot of things that I've done. You guys know my story. I'm not going to repeat them every video. Check out my Sunday topics and therapy playlist. I've grown a lot. You guys have witnessed me grow in front of you guys in the 2-3 short years that I've been, doing this. But a lot of people underestimate the power of therapy and mental work. Buy those self-help books. Limit your media consumption and read a chapter a day. If you cannot afford therapy, there's a lot of books to overcome trauma, to overcome bad reputation, to change your identity for better, and to just glow up and level up. So you have to do the mental work, and the mental work is tough. It's going to make you feel alienated sometimes. You're going to offend some people because now they can't treat you how they used to before. They can't talk to you any kind of way, etc. It is just going to be a lot of work. But understanding, why did I do those things? I went through that. I asked myself the tough questions. Why did I do this? Why did I let someone manipulate me in this manner to do this? Because especially as young girls, we're so easily manipulated by boys or stuff. I love you. I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna be with you forever. I'm gonna da-da-da-da. Unless you understand why you did some things, you're always gonna beat yourself up. And once you understand it, give yourself some grace for not knowing better or for not knowing what you know now. Don't be like, oh dang, I was so stupid, how could I not see this, or why did I do this? Be like, yeah, I was a kid, I'm gonna give myself some grace. And then when you give yourself grace, you forgive yourself, it will be a lot easier to forgive others and to be kind of like a mentor to those that are younger, instead of you judging them, understanding that everyone's on their own journey, and when it's their time, they will do what they do. Subscribe to channels that are about self-growth, okay, that are about changing your identity, channels that are going to help you do the work. But be careful what you're subscribed to. If you want to change your reputation, don't still stay subscribed to or follow pages that are going to constantly entice you or tempt you to go back to certain reputations, right? Even on Instagram, I mute certain pages where I'm like, I don't want to unfollow, but I don't want you to keep popping up on my feed. I will mute it because I'm like, I don't want this to be glamorized to me. I'm on a new journey and I'm gonna do this. Every video I watch, I make sure it's of some substance to me. It's of some value. I'm not wasting my time idly entertaining myself, if that makes sense. When you do the literal work, you will be rewarded. People will naturally see a difference, and you won't even have to cut people off. There's a lot of people that just naturally stop talking to me, and I count it a blessing, and I thank God, because it's like, yo, I have changed. I'm different. And it's a beautiful journey. Do not be ashamed of that. Now that we're done with this, I want to move on to how to be unbothered, okay? Number one, especially in just your general life, not online, is have a passion. Have a passion. That's the biggest thing. When you have a passion, you have something you're waking up every day, you're working towards. Oh my goodness, you guys have no idea how unimportant everything else seems. Everything else seems like, but when you don't have a passion, you wake up every day, you're doing the same thing, watching the same shows, gossiping, having so much free time to talk to friends, and you know, you're not working towards anything. You're so consumed with what celebrities are beefing today, Twitter stands, and stuff like that, and you're just keep refreshing different pages on Instagram to see what's this post, or all you do is party and club, and you know, like there's no real passion or purpose, or you're not working towards anything. You will be bothered by everything because you have a lot of time on your hands. You have time to respond to criticism. You have time to let it fester. It's even for me, on my busiest day, I might stumble upon a mean comment, or someone in the real world might try me. And it's like, I don't even have the time to dwell on it because I'm already moving, doing something else. I don't even have the time to feel sorry for myself or to deal on this. If I notice something shady, it's like, I don't have the luxury of entertaining this right now. So having your passion, and if you don't know your passion, start paying attention to yourself. A lot of you guys are watching. Let me ask you this, if you can answer these questions for yourself, and comment below if you literally could answer all 5 questions. Okay, comment below. I answered all 5. Kudos to you. You are very self-aware and know yourself, and it will become very easy for you to figure out what your passion is. Number 1, would you say you try different foods, listen to different music, go to different places, try new things at least once a month? Would you say that? Or do you have a specific routine? You eat the same foods, you won't try them, you listen to the same music, you go to the same places, you read the same books, you watch the same shows. How often do you try to explore new things? Because that's how you find your passion. Try new foods. They have different theaters in my area that plays Bollywood movies, that'll play Nollywood, that'll play French films, all of those things that wouldn't be in mainstream. They have them in your area. Find them. Find them, and then go check out new movies, explore yourself to different cultures. Have you started learning a new language? Okay, like try new things because they'll introduce you to different passions. Second, do you find yourself being easily influenced? Do you find yourself being the influencer in your social circles, or are you one of the people that are easily influenced? This says a lot. If you're somebody that have no influential power and you're constantly following and being influenced and consuming, you probably suffer with lack of individuality, and this is why it will always be easy to bother you because you're always constantly following others. But are you the influencer? Do you set your own trends? Are you constantly looking at what outfits are trending to go and wear them? What hairstyles? What nails? What colors? Or are you the creator? Are you creating your own style, your own trend, finding out what you like and not subscribing to all of this mentality? Be like, I don't have to be how everybody else is. Think about it. Disappear. She don't have time to like respond to everybody, do all of this because she's working. Number 2, with the number 2 is being the influencer. She'll set the tone. You know, yes, you can be inspired by others. I'm not saying to not be inspired, but make it your own. Have your own identity. Don't be a copycat. Don't follow what everybody else is doing. That's how you get to the level and the status of a powerful person, you know, dominating your industry, because you are an individual. You stand alone. You're not talking about what everybody else is talking about. You're not doing what everybody else is doing. You're creating your own lane. And 3, do you find yourself being empowered by criticism, or do you find yourself constantly being bothered that someone does not agree with you or does not like you? I've learned through the years, through therapy, to let criticism empower me, to make me better. It can hurt, let it hurt for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, hey, even take it for a day. But after that, you know what? I don't want that to be said anymore. Let me work on it. I'm not talking about toxic criticism. Like if you're gonna criticize my face, brush it off the shoulder. But say one of you guys comment says, I don't really like, I don't know, this background washes you out or something. It might hurt because I'm like, I like my little background. I like my little plaque that my good sis Marty did for me on Instagram. I always tag her. So if you see a post with this, she's in a tag. She did it for me custom made. It might hurt a little bit, but I'm like, okay, let me change the scenery a little bit. You know, after a while, use criticism to empower you. If you find criticism crippling you and then you constantly need to defend yourself, then you will always be bothered. Trust me. Do you compliment yourself often? Are you proud of who you are? I say this because if you have a low understanding of who you are, you're insecure with yourself or don't value yourself, it will be easy to hear voices of criticism and let it get to you. And the only way you can have self-love is through the work, reading the books, doing the therapy, understanding yourself, having your own identity. Fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a child of God. I am gorgeous. I am intelligent. I take pride in my mental capital, which leads me to my fifth. What is the price of your mental capital? It's not just physical. It's not just looking cute. There's a lot of women and men who are handsome, beautiful, right? But mentally, you cannot even hold a conversation with them. They lack substance. Their mental capital is weak. They don't read books. They don't know anything about art. They don't try to travel or anything. They go to the same places and do the same things. Their palettes are not expanded. They're just their mental capital is weak. Okay? And we know this. You don't have to think about it. You know when your mental capital is weak. You know it. You can tell. If there's a lot of subjects you cannot easily float in between them, you know it. And I feel like once your mental capital is elevated, you're traveling behind the scenes, like the talking points. And I'm just like, yeah, I see why this person attracts like a magnet, these type of people to them. Because when you look at them and, you know, it's night and day. So what you attract to yourself is who you are. Look at who you attract to yourself. Who are your top 5 friends right now? What are they doing with their lives? What have they accomplished? And if you're younger, this don't relate to you. You're in high school still. There's not going to be much to accomplish. But what are their grades? How do they talk to people? How do they dress, etc.? You know. But if you're older, you're 25 and up. You know, look at your friends. What are they doing? Are they at least working towards a goal? Why did you attract this person? How did you become friends with this? Even with your best friend, how did we become best friends? Why are we still best friends? What do I have in common with this person? Do we help each other? Me and my best friend have grown so much. We talk about finance. We talk about, even she's a mother. We're always talking about motherhood. I'm not yet a mother, but I'm learning so much from her for when I become a mother. We talk about things like our appearances, cleaning, spirituality, giants and gods and Bible, like so many different subjects. And I don't like to have idle conversations. And when you're growth like this, I know this is probably not what you guys would have wanted to hear. You probably would have been like, oh, turn off your comments or cut off everybody so you can be unbothered or do self-care and all this. No. It's deeper than that. You will always be unbothered if you are at a mental state that entertains foolishness and childishness. You will always be bothered if your conversations are constantly about what other people are doing, what's the latest trends, TV shows, celebrities, etc., blah 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 blah. Like you will be bothered because you have time to make other people rich and not yourself. You know, it's not what we always want to hear. But whenever you're working towards a goal and you're passionate about it, you're not doing it for the money. Yes, there's a lot of people that do things for money. A lot of celebrities, YouTubers, authors, movie stars, poets, artists, they found out they were good at something and they was like, let me make money off of it. But it becomes like a burden in the end. They're drained because they just doing everything for the money, but literally have a genuine passion, because passion will keep you going when things are really tough. When it gets really hard in your field, that's what will keep it going. So that's what I mean by passion. It will come. Like I've made some mistakes on YouTube and I could have literally quit, but I'm like, I like this. And even on the days where, I was barely making enough to scrape by, but that's not what keeps me going. It's the comments, you know, the people genuinely being like, sis, oh my goodness, this topic was for me, or this and that, you know, blah, 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 blah. I feel so like I love learning about new people. I love understanding people. This is what I love doing. What do you love doing? Comment below what keeps you going. Comment below how you're going to work towards finding out what will keep you going. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy to do these videos for you guys. I can't wait for what's coming next. Please be sure to turn on your notification bell. If you like the music that you're listening to in the background, support my brother. The link is in the description box. Subscribe to his channel. Give him a listen and tell him Kareen sent you. I love you guys so much. Until next time. Mwah. Hey.